Hello, thank you for joining me and congratulations for spending 10 minutes so that you can get more from your career and more from your teams with me today. This I'll be going into in just a moment. For us in the travel industry, Q4 is the season for trade shows. So I was at the other week, the Hospitality B2B Expo, which is like 7 trade shows in one. And this week I was at Independent Hotel Show London, which is a funny one because they're selling new soap as well as commercial solutions. So it's a bit of a funny one. And, you know, we've got coming up IMEX America, we've got WTM in London again, ITB Asia, No Vacancy Asia. So at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got loads of trade shows happening. And I'm going to share with you today some practical tools and techniques so that you can make the most of your trade shows or your business trips without feeling exhausted and wound up at the end of them. So I attend trade shows for a few different reasons, and obviously that's evolved as I'm now running my own business. But the key one that's always remained the same is to connect with people. I just think connecting in real life is such a great way to build up relationships, and that allows you way more room for negotiation. It's so hard to negotiate from behind a screen or through a WhatsApp message. If you've never met the person, you haven't created that human spark, if you, don't know the name of their dog, whatever it is. Another thing that I love to do at trade shows now, which is a bit new for me, and I'll come on to it later, is learning more about industry trends from the keynote speeches and panels. And honestly, trade shows just really give me a buzz. Like, I know all of you don't feel the same, but for example, WTM London was always the highlight of my year, to meet people, go to the parties, and just feel the energy of the travel industry that we have. So I'm going to share some tips based around the 4 key pillars of the pilot principle. The pilot principle for me is the 4 pillars that give you the energy to propel you through your career or to get more from your teams in the travel industry. So the first one we're going to reveal is self-leadership. Self-leadership is all about being the best version of yourself, knowing where you want to go, and always trying to improve just 1% per day. So sometimes when we go into a trade show or a networking event, which are often linked together, it can be quite overwhelming, right? You're often in a conference room with no natural daylight. There's loads of people, there's loads of noise, and often there's loads of people you don't know. So it can be very overwhelming. We're like scanning for danger. So here, one of my top tips is to manage your nervous system. And I'm moving my hands because that's what you need to do. Just move. All that adrenaline and cortisol that your body is sending around needs to go somewhere. So just shake it out, dance in a corner or something. And if you think, like, Emily, are you crazy? I can't dance around a trade show. You're not wrong. So another one of my favorite tips that is less visible is humming. So you do a long, low hum, take a deep breath in and hum all the way out, about here where your Adam's apple is or would be. So it sounds like this. And what this does is it activates your vagus nerve and calms down your parasympathetic nervous system. So that means that you just feel calmer, you're less in fight or flight mode, and it's a much better way to approach a show. Next section that we're going into is skill. So skill is about being good at your job, obviously. It's about having the right skills for your job hunt, if that's something you're looking for. And it's about upskilling your teams and making sure they've got the skills they need to do a good job. So in this section, what I would say is, let's look at how you're running your meetings. We often have like tiny meetings and trade shows, 15, 30 minutes, and we have a lot to get across. I'm sure that all of you already go in with a goal that you want to achieve. I want to get a 10% override, or I need to add on that early bird discount, or I want to sign up a new hotel. And that's what I would call an action goal. So what's the action that you want to achieve? But I would recommend adding 2 more goals to your preparation. One is the knowledge goal. What do you want to learn about the person in front of you or the company they work for that's going to help you find a commercial advantage and or build a better relationship with that person? Goal number 2, networking goal. Who else do you need to meet at that person's company, or if they know people, at a neighboring hotel or a nearby client that they know, who can they introduce you to? So that's your action goal, the same one you've always done, your knowledge goal, and your networking goal. Next pillar is all about support. So here at these conferences and trade shows, they often have keynote speeches, panels, panel discussions, things like that. And this is where you're going to hear experts and industry thought leaders talk about trending topics. And this is really important because if you can take just 30 to 60 minutes out of your day to go and learn something about trends that are happening in the industry, you're going to come across as more open-minded, more strategic. You're going to understand more the impact that your work has in the industry. It also helps with your networking, gives you something to talk about. So I used to just fill up my day with these 10, 15-minute meetings. I made no time for myself. That's getting stuck in the weeds. Give yourself half an hour, 60 minutes every day at the conference to go and learn something new that you can then bring back into your thinking and your company. And the final pillar of the pilot principle, slick communication. Essentially, I think communication is all about putting yourself in the other person's shoes and thinking about how that message lands with them and what they care about. So my tip here is to listen more, and to help us listen more, think about asking more questions. And not just more questions, ninja level, better questions as well. So if you ask a lot of what I would call status questions, for example, what was the company turnover last year? Or how many bedrooms does the hotel have? Or who's the head of purchasing these days? That information can probably be found on the internet, on their website, on their LinkedIn page, and that doesn't add any value to the conversation. You're making them answer questions that are actually quite obvious. So if you can move to questions that actually add value, add insight, and help uncover value, you are going to become more of a trusted advisor to your clients or your suppliers. So a question might be, for example, how is your commercial strategy changing given the drop in US inbound tourism? And what support do you need to achieve that strategy? Do you see how you come across more strategic, like you know what you're talking about as well? And you're helping them perhaps think about things they might not have thought about. So you're adding value and insight, and then you become someone that can help them mold that strategy together. I'd love to hear in the comments any bits of these that were your favorite, or if you have any questions and I can drop by and answer them. I'm going to be at WTM London in November. To be honest, whenever you watch this, I'm always going to be at WTM the next time. And next week, Monday, 9 a.m., I'm going live on LinkedIn and YouTube. So join me to learn more about how to follow up from your trade shows. Thank you. Have a great day.